Bridge, Wikipedia article audio. A bridge is a structure built to span physical obstacles without closing the way underneath, such as a body of water, valley, or road, for the purpose of providing passage over the obstacle. There are many different designs that each serve a particular purpose and apply to different situations. Designs of bridges vary depending on the function of the bridge, the nature of the terrain where the bridge is constructed and anchored, the material used to make it, and the funds available to build it. The Oxford English Dictionary traces the origin of the word bridge to an Old English word brycg, of the same meaning. The word can be traced directly back to Proto-Indo-European *brw. The word for the card game of the same name has a different origin. Etymology. History. The Arcadico Bridge is one of 4 Mycenaean corbel arch bridges, part of a former network of roads, designed to accommodate chariots, between the fort of Tiryns and town of Epidaurus in the Peloponnese, in southern Greece. Dating to the Greek Bronze Age, it is one of the oldest arch bridges still in existence and use. Several intact arched stone bridges from the Hellenistic era can be found in the Peloponnese. The greatest bridge builders of antiquity were the ancient Romans. The Romans built arch bridges and aqueducts that could stand in conditions that would damage or destroy earlier designs. Some stand today. An example is the Alcantara Bridge, built over the river Tagus, in Spain. The Romans also used cement, which reduced the variation of strength found in natural stone. One type of cement, called pozzolana, consisted of water, lime, sand, and volcanic rock. Brick and mortar bridges were built after the Roman era, as the technology for cement was lost. In India, the Arthashastra treatise by Kautilya mentions the construction of dams and bridges. A Mauryan bridge near Girnar was surveyed by James Princip. The bridge was swept away during a flood, and later repaired by Puspagupta, the chief architect of Emperor Chandragupta I. The use of stronger bridges using plated bamboo and iron chain was visible in India by about the 4th century. A number of bridges, both for military and commercial purposes, were constructed by the Mughal administration in India. Although large Chinese bridges of wooden construction existed at the time of the Warring States, the oldest surviving stone bridge in China is the Zhaozhou Bridge, built from 595 to 605 AD during the Sui dynasty. This bridge is also historically significant as it is the world's oldest open spandrel stone segmental arch bridge. European segmental arch bridges date back to at least the Alcanitar Bridge, while the enormous Roman-era Trajan's Bridge featured open spandrel segmental arches in wooden construction. Rope bridges, a simple type of suspension bridge, were used by the Inca civilization in the Andes Mountains of South America, just prior to European colonization in the 16th century. Animals. During the 18th century there were many innovations in the design of timber bridges by Hans Ulrich Grubenmann, Johannes Grubenmann, and others. The first book on bridge engineering was written by Hubert Gautier in 1716. A major breakthrough in bridge technology came with the erection of the Iron Bridge in Shropshire, England in 1779. It used cast iron for the first time as arches to cross the River Severn. Types of bridges. With the Industrial Revolution in the 19th century, truss systems of wrought iron were developed for larger bridges, but iron does not have the tensile strength to support large loads. With the advent of steel, which has a high tensile strength, much larger bridges were built, many using the ideas of Gustav Eiffel. In 1927, welding pioneer Stefan Bryla designed the first welded road bridge in the world, the Morzys Bridge, which was later built across the river Słudwia at Morzys near Lois, Poland in 1929. In 1995, the American Welding Society presented the historic Welded Structure Award for the bridge to Poland. Before humans, ants have been making bridges using their own bodies to allow others to cross. Structure type. Bridges can be categorized in several different ways. Common categories include the type of structural elements used, by what they carry, whether they are fixed or movable, and by the materials used. Fixed or movable bridges. Bridges may be classified by how the forces of tension, compression, bending, torsion and shear are distributed through their structure. Most bridges will employ all of the principal forces to some degree, but only a few will predominate. The separation of forces may be quite clear. In a suspension or cable-stayed span, the elements in tension are distinct in shape and placement. In other cases, the forces may be distributed among a large number of members, as in a truss. Double-decked bridges. The world's longest beam bridge is Lake Pontchartrain Causeway in southern Louisiana in the United States, at 23.83 miles, with individual spans of 56 feet. Beam bridges are the simplest and oldest type of bridge in use today, and are a popular type. Some cantilever bridges also have a smaller beam connecting the two cantilevers, for extra strength. Viaducts. The largest cantilever bridge is the 549-meter Quebec Bridge in Quebec, Canada. With the span of 220 meters, the Solcan Bridge over the So River at Solcan in Slovenia is the second largest stone bridge in the world and the longest railroad stone bridge. It was completed in 1905. Its arch, which was constructed from over 5,000 tons of stone blocks in just 18 days, is the second largest stone arch in the world, surpassed only by the Friedensbruck in Plauen, and the largest railroad stone arch. The arch of the Friedensbruck, which was built in the same year, has the span of 90 m and crosses the valley of the Sirabach River. The difference between the two is that the Solcan Bridge was built from stone blocks, whereas the Friedensbruck was built from a mixture of crushed stone and cement mortar. The world's current largest arch bridge is the Kaohsiunman Bridge over the Yangtze River with a length of 1,741 m and a span of 552 m. The bridge was opened April 29, 2009 in Chongqing, China. The longest suspension bridge in the world is the 3,909 m Akashi Kaiki Bridge in Japan. The longest cable-stayed bridge since 2012 is the Ruska Bridge in Vladivostok, Russia. Three-way bridges. Most bridges are fixed bridges, meaning they have no moving parts and stay in one place until they fail or are demolished. Temporary bridges, such as Bailey bridges, are designed to be assembled, and taken apart, transported to a different site, and reused. They are important in military engineering, and are also used to carry traffic while an old bridge is being rebuilt. Movable bridges are designed to move out of the way of boats or other kinds of traffic, which would otherwise be too tall to fit. These are generally electrically powered. Bridge types by use. Double-decked bridges have two levels, such as the George Washington Bridge, connecting New York City to Bergen County, New Jersey, U.S., as the world's busiest bridge, carrying 102 million vehicles annually. Truss work between the roadway levels provided stiffness to the roadways and reduced movement of the upper level when the lower level was installed 3 decades after the upper level. The Tsing Ma Bridge and Kap Shui Mun Bridge in Hong Kong have 6 lanes on their upper decks, and on their lower decks there are 2 lanes and a pair of tracks for MTR metro trains. Some double-decked bridges only use one level for street traffic. The Washington Avenue Bridge in Minneapolis reserves its lower level for automobile and light rail traffic and its upper level for pedestrian and bicycle traffic. Likewise, in Toronto, the Prince Edward Viaduct has 5 lanes of motor traffic, bicycle lanes, and sidewalks on its upper deck, and a pair of tracks for the Bloor-Danforth subway line on its lower deck. The western span of the San Francisco-Oakland Bay Bridge also has 2 levels. Robert Stephenson's high-level bridge across the River Tyne in Newcastle upon Tyne, completed in 1849, is an early example of a double-decked bridge. The upper level carries a railway, and the lower level is used for road traffic. Other examples include Britannia Bridge over the Mina Strait and Craigavon Bridge in Derry, Northern Ireland. The Øresund Bridge between Copenhagen and Malmö consists of a 4-lane highway on the upper level and a pair of railway tracks at the lower level. Tower Bridge in London is a different example of a double-decked bridge, with the central section consisting of a low-level bascule span and a high-level footbridge. A viaduct is made up of multiple bridges connected into one longer structure. The longest and some of the highest bridges are viaducts, such as the Lake Pontchartrain Causeway and Millau Viaduct. A 3-way bridge has 3 separate spans which meet near the center of the bridge. The bridge appears as a T or Y when viewed from above. 3-way bridges are extremely rare. The Drudge, Margaret Bridge, and Zanesville Y Bridge are examples. Bridge types by material. Aesthetics. Bridge maintenance. Bridge failures. A bridge can be categorized by what it is designed to carry, such as trains, pedestrian, or road traffic, a pipeline or waterway for water transport or barge traffic. An aqueduct is a bridge that carries water, resembling a viaduct, which is a bridge that connects points of equal height. A road-rail bridge carries both road and rail traffic. A bridge can carry overhead power lines as does the Sturstream Bridge. Some bridges accommodate other purposes, such as the Tower of Novi Most Bridge in Bratislava, which features a restaurant, or a bridge restaurant which is a bridge built to serve as a restaurant. Other suspension bridge towers carry transmission antennas. Bridges are subject to unplanned uses as well. The areas underneath some bridges have become makeshift shelters and homes to homeless people, and the undertimbers of bridges all around the world are spots of prevalent graffiti. Some bridges attract people attempting suicide, and become known as suicide bridges. The materials used to build the structure are also used to categorize bridges. Until the end of the 18th century, bridges were made out of timber, stone, and masonry. Modern bridges are currently built in concrete, steel, fiber-reinforced polymers, stainless steel, or combinations of those materials. Living bridges have been constructed of live plants such as Ficus elastica tree roots in India and wisteria vines in Japan. Most bridges are utilitarian in appearance, but in some cases, the appearance of the bridge can have great importance. Often, this is the case with a large bridge that serves as an entrance to a city, or crosses over a main harbor entrance. These are sometimes known as signature bridges. Designers of bridges in parks and along parkways often place more importance to aesthetics, as well. Examples include the stone-faced bridges along the Taconic State Parkway in New York. To create a beautiful image, some bridges are built much taller than necessary. This type, often found in East Asian-style gardens, is called a moon bridge, evoking a rising full moon. Other garden bridges may cross only a dry bed of stream-washed pebbles, intended only to convey an impression of a stream. Often in palaces a bridge will be built over an artificial waterway as symbolic of a passage to an important place or state of mind. A set of 5 bridges cross a sinuous waterway in an important courtyard of the Forbidden City in Beijing, China. The central bridge was reserved exclusively for the use of the emperor, empress, and their attendants. Bridge maintenance consisting of a combination of structural health monitoring and testing. This is regulated in country-specific engineer standards and includes e.g. an ongoing monitoring every 3 to 6 months, a simple test or inspection every 2 to 3 years and a major inspection every 6 to 10 years. In Europe, the cost of maintenance is higher than spending on new bridges. The lifetime of welded steel bridges can be significantly extended by after-treatment of the weld transitions. This results in a potential high benefit, using existing bridges far beyond the planned lifetime. Bridge monitoring. The failure of bridges is of special concern for structural engineers in trying to learn lessons vital to bridge design, construction, and maintenance. The failure of bridges first assumed national interest during the Victorian era when many new designs were being built, often using new materials. In the United States, the National Bridge Inventory tracks the structural evaluations of all bridges, including designations such as structurally deficient and functionally obsolete. There are several methods used to monitor the stress on large structures like bridges. The most common method is the use of an accelerometer, which is integrated into the bridge while it is being built. This technology is used for long-term surveillance of the bridge. Visual index. Another option for structural integrity monitoring is non-contact monitoring, which uses the Doppler effect. A laser beam from a laser Doppler vibrometer is directed at the point of interest, and the vibration amplitude and frequency are extracted from the Doppler shift of the laser beam frequency due to the motion of the surface. The advantage of this method is that the setup time for the equipment is faster and, unlike an accelerometer, this makes measurements possible on multiple structures in as short a time as possible. Additionally, this method can measure specific points on a bridge that might be difficult to access.